Viewers, let's shift our attention to West Bengal. 152 seats. The state is set to vote in the first phase of assembly elections across 152 constituencies in North Bengal and several districts in the south.
In fact, the TMC is in power for the last 15 years. It is eyeing a fourth term in the state, and that's going to be historic for the TMC since 2016 elections. Remember, the BJP, however, has been emerging as the main opposition, sidelining the traditional Congress and left alliance that we have seen as a challenge to Mamata Banerjee. The party is now eyeing a victory in the state, and from SIR to infiltration to women's safety, many of these key issues are now driving the poll narrative. So who all are joining us, Pranesh? Let's tell our viewers about the reporters.
We have Pratibha, Dharani, Imran, Ridhita joining us. Ridhita, will come to you in just a bit, but let's say, take the base numbers for Bengal, how the state voted the last time around. Can we have the numbers on the big screen?
Absolutely. Let's show our viewers as to why we are saying that BJP is going to be the one to watch out for, because of the phenomenal rise that we have seen in its numbers from 2016 to 2021. This is the 2021 assembly numbers. The TMC stands at 215 with a 48.5% voter share, a huge chunk there. Of course, you have the BJP, which has 38.1%, having done phenomenally well in the last assembly elections, cutting into the Congress and the left vote banks, reducing it to almost none. You, of course, have the Congress, which is now almost a non-player, because we have seen the way that it is fighting a solo war for its very survival. In fact, reactions coming in from West Bengal. Let's get you that.
कल मुर्शिदाबाद में थोड़ा सा पॉलिटिकल
एक्सपीरियंस अच्छा है, संख्या बहुत मिनिमम है।
सर, लोग ज्यादा से ज्यादा हैं, उसके लिए लोग ज्यादा से ज्यादा
हाँ वोट डालना चाहिए।
दादा, क्या संदेश देना चाहेंगे?
90% तो कम से कम होना चाहिए, खास करके माइग्रेन लेवल लोग और जो पढ़ा लिखा विद्यार्थी लोग बाहर था, सब आ गया, बहुत बड़ा।
दादा,
रेलवे डिपार्टमेंट बहुत अच्छा अरेंजमेंट किया, 102 स्पेशल ट्रेन चलाया, बहुत अच्छा हुआ।
दादा, स्पेशल कुछ मैसेज देना चाहेंगे? वोटर को गर्मी बहुत है, पहले वोट करके निकले, और
लाइन तो लग गया, पता लग गया।
हाँ।
6:30 बजे से लग गया।
हाँ।
अभी तो 6:50 है।
हाँ।
मैं तो सब पोलिंग एजेंट के साथ बात कर लिया, बहुत सब मॉक पोलिंग भी स्टार्ट हो गया, सब ठीक है।
कुछ नहीं होगा। मैं असदुद्दीन ओवैसी साहब को साथ गठबंधन की कोशिश किया। 25 मार्च 2025 कलकत्ता में आपको सारे पत्रकार, सारे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मीडिया को पास हो, खुद गठबंधन करके जोड़ के इलेक्शन 2026 भी नहीं, अगले इलेक्शन भी चुनाव के गठबंधन करके लड़ेंगे, ये ऐलान खुद ओवैसी में किया। लेकिन यहाँ ओवैसी का जो स्टेट प्रेसिडेंट है इमरान सोलंकी, मैं ओवैसी साहब को भी चैलेंज कर रहे हैं। वो जो इमरान सोलंकी के बात सुन के मेरे को जो गठबंधन तोड़ दिया, वो वापस लिया, जो उनका जो बात रखा वो बात वो वापस लिया। मैं चैलेंज कर रहा हूँ IIM को।
Humayun Kabir there. Well, he could be one of the spoilers of West Bengal. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, which are the big controversies? Remember, this election season, it's been one political face-off after the other. One of the biggest controversies has been over the central agencies versus the state debate. The BJP has said that the agencies have been acting within the law with robust voting, which it seems to be happening on the ground as well, and they have done everything possible to ensure the elections are free and fair. But when it comes to Mamata Banerjee, the TMC says that political vendetta and misuse of power by the BJP is the allegation. Controversy number 2, it is TMC versus the Election Commission that we have seen in full blow. You have the BJP saying EC is acting independently and it is acting fairly, especially when it comes to several other controversies that we have seen with the agencies as well. You have Mamata Banerjee saying that there was bias and it is selective enforcement. It is only the TMC and their candidates who are being targeted by the Election Commission. When it comes to the third controversy, the IPAC raid, of course, we have scathing criticisms which is coming in for Mamata Banerjee and the TMC when it comes to the way she had barged in to the ED raid when they were raiding IPAC. You have the BJP saying that the action of the ED was based on credible inputs. Even the courts has said that this is not the kind of intimidation which can be allowed. The TMC, however, said it is political targeting right ahead of the elections. Controversy number 4 is that of the fish row, and that's been one of the most interesting ones. You have the BJP saying that fish consumption is not going to be affected. They were forced to come out, give that clarification. Anurag Thakur and several of the top BJP leaders also had a fish curry on a Tuesday, which sparked off a different parallel controversy. But all of this because you had Mamata Banerjee says that BJP will stop you from eating fish as well as meat. Controversy number 5, governor versus the state. Governor upholding the constitution is what the BJP says, TMC says, obstructing the elected government. Those are the kind of controversies that we have seen. In fact, let me go across to Pooja, who is joining us as well. She's joining, Hridita, I believe, is joining us. Hridita, the fish controversy is going to be one of the most interesting one because at the end of it, when it comes to Bengal, we know that the people love their food. Food has been an emotive issue there. In the midst of it all, you have that fear-mongering ka tadka which has been put in that fish is going to be banned, meat is going to be banned.
Absolutely. This elections has been observant to muchly politics that has played over Bengal, and you have seen that at one side when BJP leaders came to the state, they ate fish curries. As you were stating about Anurag Thakur earlier, we have also seen Smriti Irani in a press conference stating that bring me fish, I will withdraw its bones and show you how to eat a fish. On the same note, we have seen the Supremo of the Trinamool Congress Party, Mamata Banerjee, making a direct attack on the Prime Minister after the Jhalmuri politics, stating that if you want to have fish, I will make it personally for you. You do not need to make a controversy of it. You do not need to soft target Bengalis about their food habits. However, TMC has tried to create a narrative that if BJP comes to power in the state, then it will be without fish. The consumptions of meat, fish, egg and other non-veg items will come to a halt. And also they have stated that people will not be willingly be allowed to practice their religion. On the other note, BJP leaders have said that look at other neighboring states like Bihar, Assam and other states which is also a fish eating area, and there the selling, the import of the export of the fish market has increased. Rather, there is more of export of fish now, which Bengal has been lacking over years, which Bengal being an area which is so fish prone, where fish cultivation happens in huge numbers, that has been serving loss over 15 years now. BJP has projected their chart sheet also on this note only. They have said that TMC out here is actually not looked into the fish cultivation matter. They have not looked into the ministry overall.
Absolutely.
And therefore loss has been suffered immensely, whereas the other states of BJP ruling states have seen a quiet growth in that number.
So we are going to be tracking that very closely here. Hridita on Times Now, the fastest updates coming your way. A quick look at the key fights as well, Pranesh, before we move on with our coverage. Well, the biggest fights, of course, is going to be Suvendu Adhikari of the BJP versus Pabitra Kaur. This is going to be in Nandigram. We got you the live visuals. We also spoke to Suvendu Adhikari, who says 90% of the people are expected to come out, vote for the BJP is what he has said. Then you have the next seat that we are going to show for you. We are going to move on quickly between the seats. Well, we are going to tell you about the big fights that we have seen. The second fight we are showing you is Asansol Dakshin. You have Agni Mitra Paul of the BJP, Souvik Mukherjee of the Congress, you have Tapas Banerjee of the TMC. The next seat that we are looking at is Asansol Dakshin. After that, we are going to show you the next seat as well. Well, we are going to be moving on a bit faster there. But Pranesh, I'm going to come back to you. These are the kind of contests that we have seen. For example, in Shiriguri, you have Shankar Ghosh of the BJP versus Alok Dhara of the Congress Party, Gautam Dev of the TMC. Congress versus TMC, and we've seen the most scathing fights there, Pranesh, when it comes not the acrimony of them fighting against the BJP, but against each other.
You're right, and the visuals of the leader of opposition there in the West Bengal Assembly, Suvendu Adhikari, many believe that if the BJP, comes to power in Bengal, you could have a situation where he's one of the names for the prospective CM post. Tushar Gupta is joining the broadcast. Tushar, a lot has been said and written about the SIR deletions. 90 lakh voters. The TMC says, look, this is an attempt by the Chief Election Commissioner, Gyanesh Gupta, to help the BJP.
I don't know why the TMC has made SR such a big issue. Even after 15 years in power, if you have to be scared and frightened of a constitutional process, I think that speaks volumes about the kind of governance you have been leading. Meghna just spoke about Siliguri. You know, these are one of the important seats, the whole Darjeeling Lok Sabha seat where 6 assemblies are there. These are the assemblies that the BJP will have to sweep, 7-0. Nothing less. If the BJP cannot sweep such bastions, I'm sorry, it will be a very difficult and a very irrelevant second phase. Look, Pradesh, you know, narratives, personas, governance, all this chatter is good until today. Today, it's all about the Karyakarta. Can he tell the average Bengali voter to not be scared, come out of their homes and vote? Because at the end of the day, the BJP needs to increase its seat tally by 100%. It needs to double it. And while the TMC can actually afford to even lose 33% of their seats and still form the government. So the tall ask of the BJP today is get the Karyakarta on the ground, ensure that they get the voters on the ground, because everything else will remain just on paper, just a theory, if this one practical application does not happen. But about the SIR, Pradesh, a lot of noise being made, a lot of bogus voters being removed. You look at the logical discrepancy clause that the EC actually deployed. There are 200, 300 voters in certain constituencies that were linked to a single parent. They were voters who had an age gap of less than 15 years with who they claimed their parent was, less than 40 years with who they claimed their grandparent was. So these things, you know, this has been an automated process completely driven by software and artificial intelligence. So I don't see why TMC has a lot to complain. And even these cases were 27 lakh out of the 90 lakh cases. Other deletions include people who have moved out of the state, people who have been dead for a long time. So I don't know why the TMC is really complaining about this, especially after 15 years in power. It just sounds very myopic and very, for the lack of a better word,
there are at least 10 districts with maximum deletions. Murshidabad tops the list with over 4,55,000 people's names that have been deleted. In fact, we have the numbers. Meghna, if you could, quickly.
Absolutely. Let's tell you which are the districts which have seen the maximum amount of numbers. Remember, from both the BJP seats as well as the TMC seats. We'll be telling you about that, but these are the districts with the maximum number of voters, which may just be the big factor, the big unknown factor in this poll. Murshidabad has seen deletions of about 4.5 lakh voters. Malda, 2.39 lakh voters. Purbo Medinipur, which is close to 20,000 voters. Names have been deleted due to what the EC says. Many of them, because they were not even residing in that area, many of them have already passed, which is why these names have been deleted. Bankura, another one of the districts, 6.5 thousand. 5.9, close to 6,000 voters. Earlier voters in Purulia, their names have been deleted. These are the districts which have the maximum deletions, along with Kalimpong. Again, North Bengal, something that Tushar was also mentioning. That is, remember, the bastion and what BJP must perform in, because the South we have seen in the past as well, going with the TMC. Kalimpong 2.4, you have Jhargram 1.24. Let me go across, in fact, to Mr. Rajagopalan. Even though the TMC has been saying that it has been specifically seats of the TMC which have been deleted, which have seen the maximum amount of deletions. However, the truth is that there are about, of the 44 crucial seats, 24 of these seats belong to the TMC, yes, but 20 of them also belong to the BJP.
You're on mute, sir.
SCR can, play both sides. That is what I could make it out, because SIR is a tool which Supreme Court dealt with very sincerely and effectively. That is why SIR is also a talking point in West Bengal. Second, politically speaking, Tushar Gupta explained everything, but my understanding is why Mr. Amit Shah is staying put for 15 days. Why Mr. Narendra Modi has been campaigning more than 18 to 19 rallies. So therefore,
Sorry to interrupt you,
BJP
Mr. Rajagopalan. We have Kamala Hassan on our screen, so we are going to quickly shift